Hello and welcome. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Andrew, and we're brothers. And this is the Daniel and Andrew Show,
where we give our opinions about movies and TV that we've been watching lately. So, Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. It was kind of a weird week. It started off really slow, and then I got real busy at the end. So, yeah. Did you do anything fun this week?
No, not really. Just been playing Star Wars. That's about it.
As one does. I was also playing Star Wars. I had Wednesday off and saw a bunch of movies and stuff, and I can talk about that a little later. One day that day I saw 4 movies. I can talk about what one of them that I did was they were playing Revenge of the Jedi, or not Revenge of the. I think that's the original title, actually, right? Revenge of the Jedi, and then they changed it to Return of the Jedi, I think. Anyway, Return of the Jedi. They put it back in theaters for the 40th anniversary. Oh, so I was gonna see it on Tuesday, actually, and
I had like some bad experience or something, right?
I'm by myself, right? And I go and I get my drink and I get my big old popcorn, fresh. And I was like, ooh, yeah, fresh popcorn. I'm excited. I've never seen any of the Star Wars on the big screen. The prequels I probably watched in the theater, but I've never seen the originals in the theater. So I was like, I'm kind of excited about this. And I get in there, and it says like a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but I've eaten half my popcorn at this point. And then I go to grab my drink, and he didn't put the lid on correctly, and just popped right open. And like the paper cup just squished, and all this Powerade went all over me. And I get up really fast, and that's exactly when it goes, the Star Wars song starts, and there's a Star Wars, and people are like, yay! And I was like, God dang it! I'm like trying to clean myself off, and I go to the bathroom, try to dry myself off, but it's all over one side of my pants and like has soaked through and everything, and it's Powerade, so it's all sticky and cold. So I went and got my refund and came back late the next day, not to that theater, to a different theater, but yeah, so that sucked.
Nice,
but just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But I got refunds and stuff from the ticket, and I got another popcorn thing or whatever. After I got my refund and stuff, I went right back into that theater, grabbed my popcorn, and left. I was like, I'm not leaving that popcorn. So yeah. But I was really
important.
I just jumped up and just all this, I tried to mitigate the issue, but there was no way I was gonna sit there. There was so much liquid. It's like I was like standing there talking to this girl who's the manager, who's like definitely younger than me, and she like doesn't care that much. She's like, yeah, I can get you a refund or whatever, some passes or whatever. And I like just feel this liquid dripping down my leg. It's like, all right, I'm ready to go. Can you just make this faster so I can leave and drive home? But yeah, so that was Tuesday night for me.
Yeah, that's only something you could accomplish there.
He didn't put the lid on properly.
I mean, you got it into the theater somehow.
Yeah, but because you give it to me, right? So I'm holding it at the bottom. But when you're taking it out of the cup holder, you have to take it from the top. Like the top. So it was the lid came off, and then it just kind of squished in my hand because it was a cheap paper cup. And it went all over me.
I feel like you would have seen the lid, but all right.
I will always secure the lid on my drink from now on.
Oh, yeah, you learned that lesson.
I
I
learned that
guess.
the hard way for sure. It was just so weird. It's like it was a written story. It was just like right when the thing was like bam bam, it was like, oh my god, it's like spill all over myself. Yep.
Did you enjoy the movie the second time around?
Yeah, that was my third movie of the day that day. But yes, I did enjoy that movie. It's a really good culmination for sure of that trilogy. There's some kind of goofy stuff. Han Solo like taps a guy on the stormtrooper on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey!" And he runs over to the side and just gets shot. Like,
Star Wars has always had goofy stuff like that.
I know. That's why people complaining about Mandalorian being goofy in parts that is interesting to me. Because it's always been goofy. There's never not been goofiness.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but yes, what they're talking about in Mandalorian was a little too over the top, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Before I was watching these movies and I saw a lot of trailers, and the trailers this week, there was only a couple of them this week because most of them came out last week, but there was a trailer train pulled in, short train. There was the trailer for Dune 2 came out, or what is it called? Dune Part 2 or whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what's exact, but that trailer came out. That was the one that they showed at CinemaCon. What'd you think of that trailer?
I don't know. The first one burned me pretty hard, so
I think it's funny that you don't like that movie. There's like, I don't know anybody that watched it that was like,
the first trailer, because they showed Zendaya like the entire trailer, and she wasn't even in the freaking movie.
Oh, well, she says
so
she's
how am I supposed to believe they're advertising this time around?
This is the part 2. This is the payoff here.
Yeah.
So
they also showed Batista in the first trailer as well, and he wasn't in that movie either. He was in it for literally 1 millisecond, as long as he was in the trailer.
He was in it more than that. He was in like 3 scenes. You're acting like he was in like...
He was in like 3 scenes where he did nothing.
That's not true. He has a fight, doesn't he, with Momoa? Doesn't he fight him?
No, that would have been great. But no, that did not happen.
Oh.
I would have never complained if he had a fight with Momoa. That's what I wanted, but now Momoa's gone.
Well, I'm not here to complain about the first movie. What did you think of the trailer for this movie, the second one, with riding a sandworm? And
I mean, it looks cool. I like Zendaya, so I hope it looks like she's gonna be in this one. So that's cool.
You got Florence Pugh as a princess. And then Austin Butler, bald Austin Butler being a bad guy here. She's got to have a young guy to fight the main guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Just based off the trailer, this one will probably be better than the second one, but they're probably going to be very, very similar. So
there should be a big battle and stuff in this one. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be good. And then the other trailer that is very different from Dune is Gran Turismo. What'd you think of that trailer?
That looked stupid.
Really?
It's just like, why even have like the game in the movie or whatever? It's like, that's all you could think of was like, let's put a guy who plays our game in a car. That's the movie.
I kind of liked that. It's like they're like, oh, the games or whatever, so they can be like real racers or whatever. I don't
just
know.
like, who asks for a movie like that?
I don't know. They're making so many video game movies. The amount of video game movies and TV shows that are happening is insane, or at least in development. You know, we've had the ones recently with Mario and Sonic and whatever, Assassin's Creed or
Pokemon.
They said they're going to make a Gears of War movie. They're making a Fallout TV show. I'm sure
There was a Halo TV show, Witcher show.
Witcher, Last of Us.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
I'm sure
you see, they mined up some gold,
Warcraft.
and now everything has to revolve around that gold mine. So,
Yeah. Well, video games is the most lucrative business there is. Billions and billions of dollars every year. So
if you include mobile gaming, it's ridiculous how
insane.
much mobile gaming makes.
Like how much money freaking Fortnite makes, like it's insane. Like they had that lawsuit against Fortnite, and they were like hundreds of millions of dollars had to pay back, and they're like, okay, drop in the bucket for the amount of money that game makes.
That phone game that I just like barely mentioned, it's been out for like 2 weeks, and it's made $20 million.
Yeah, that makes video games make so much money, so they're gonna go, okay, well, people like video games, you like video games, and you will probably
I don't
see.
know what took them so long. I mean, they've been here they've
tried
quite a while.
They just didn't know what to do with them, and even till recently they didn't know it. Like that Assassin's Creed movie is horrible. They've done Tomb Raider twice. They tried to make a Mario movie, and that was bad.
Tomb Raider they've actually done more than twice, but
well, I mean, two iterations.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
The one with Jolie, and then Alicia Vikander, who's apparently doing another one. Then I haven't heard nothing.
They were all successful. Maybe not the Vikander one.
Yeah,
maybe not as big as they wanted it to be, but most of them have been successful. Other than like, I know Halo hasn't been successful, and Witcher was successful for a while, and I think we've already been over that. One's probably dead now.
Mortal Kombat, they've done that multiple times, and then I liked the most recent one, was good.
Yeah, but I feel like this should have happened a few years ago, and I think it would have if COVID didn't happen. I think this would have been a lot earlier, but yeah, definitely.
I think they've tried many times, and there's plenty of ones that come out. There was, Hitman, and they've made Street Fighter games. They've made Need for Speed, Warcraft, Rampage, Monster Hunter. They've been making them. They've been made. It's just they just haven't hooked yet because they've been mostly bad up until recently. They're making Borderlands. They're making.
I think TV shows are more what they should be made into, not movies, unless you're doing like, I don't know. Like I feel like God of War, like where's that? That's easily a great TV show right there.
Yeah, I agree. Like those are just there's like just movies. There's like TV shows and stuff that they're making. Like we talked about Fallout and stuff like that. But
yeah, that's probably the one I'm most excited for. So I haven't even seen anything on it.
Yeah. And there was stuff like Free Guy that's basically a video game, like it's a video game movie, and Ready Player One and stuff like that. So
that's probably my favorite one, is Ready Player One.
I liked Ready Player One because there was also a movie, homages to movies and stuff. So yeah, I think Free Guy was really fun. I quite enjoyed that movie. But yeah, so I'm cool with more movies based on video games or TV shows or whatever. I just have to be interested in the game to start with. Like Fallout, I'm interested
Like Gran
in.
Turismo.
I played Gran Turismo. We played that back in the day. The movie, I think it looks okay. I actually thought it was kind of stupid from what beforehand, but actually that trailer, I think David Harbour's in it, and I like him. And
Yeah, they got quite the cast there for Gran Turismo for some reason.
I think it doesn't look bad. The effects look pretty good with the cars and stuff. I think I'm more interested in a racing movie than a racing game. So,
I really don't have interest in either. So,
all right. Well, that was all the trailers that we had. So here's some news. Speaking of video game movies, they're doing the second Mortal Kombat. And the person who is in talks to play Johnny Cage, Billy Butcher, Carl Urban.
That's actually perfect.
I hate the casting. He's too old. He's like 40. He's like 50 years old.
What does that matter? Well, you don't know what kind of take they're going for. Are they going for an old one or are they going for a younger one?
I'm assuming younger. Like prime of his career time.
Isn't Sonya in the first one? Wait,
and she's like 35,
the sequel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if she's 35, then why can't he 50. Do it? You make him look a little younger. He has like the right body type, and he has the charisma to pull it off. I don't see what the problem is.
I don't know. He won't, like, if they make another one, he'll be like 55. After that, like, I don't know, it's too old.
Looks good. No, I don't see the problem.
Nah, I'd rather get somebody younger, like the guy Glenn Powell, who's in Top Gun Maverick. He's like the main hangman. No. He's the cocky guy. Hangman.
The guy. Yeah, except that guy has like no charisma.
I think he has charisma. What are you talking about?
No. He does it,
and he's kind of douchey, and he's jacked, and he's not 50 years old.
He's like a fan favorite, and he has to be funny, and he has to nail the comedy, and that's what other guys seen him do. He does comedy. What has he done as comedy?
He was in some TV shows and stuff. What is the show that I watched him in? It was called Scream Queens. I know you've never seen it. It's like horror-ish.
No. If they go with that guy, I'm not going to be mad. I think it's a good choice. So.
I think he's too old.
Yeah. Your age really barely affects showbiz at this point. I mean, as long as you can do what's required, age shouldn't matter. I will say, if they're like gonna do, because Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage are a thing, so that might be a little weird. That'd be my only concern.
Yeah. I don't know. Wouldn't be my choice, but I probably will be fine with it in the movie, but I still wouldn't. He's in talks. It's not confirmed, but it's like the rumor is that it's like in final talks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They some people have been talking about The Miz. They said he basically plays that character when he's as wrestling. His character is like the A-lister or whatever.
I see what you're saying now.
And he's not 50.
Problem is just he can't act.
I think, isn't the point that he's like a goofy actor, like action star guy? Isn't that the point?
Yeah, he still has to be like funny though, and actually like
he is funny. I think he's funny.
No, he's not funny.
I would be fine with that, and he's not 50, so. But yeah,
no, not The Miz.
I would definitely be. I would already be down to watch the movie, but I would be really down if it was Johnny
I
Cage.
would rather have the other guy you mentioned before the Miz.
Johnny Cage is like my favorite Mortal Kombat character, so I just really want them to get it right and not cast old man. So
The
there you
thing,
go.
I mean, him in the other show, he's got that.
And he's already other characters. He's been Dread, and yeah, he's in The Boys, and he's in like
but
Star
he's got like
Trek.
that confidence and stuff that like
I know,
would
but
just be perfect for Johnny Cage.
Like most of the people in that movie are kind of no names, so like just having him in there would just like be weird. Like it would be like,
just make it Chris Pratt. Just make him everything.
no, I would also say not Chris Pratt. I disagree on that.
He's younger.
He is younger. It's funny that there's a joke in Guardians about being old, which is funny. That actually is funny. But yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. Speaking of other rumors of people being in movies, Deadpool 3, there's several rumors that we will see Professor X and Magneto and Owen Wilson from Loki and Loki as well being in Deadpool 3. As well as the cast of the 2000s Fantastic Four. All those people are rumored to maybe be in Deadpool 3 because apparently, you know, at the end of Deadpool 2, he could just jump around, apparently, do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, because they have like some time traveling thing or something. Yeah. That'd be cool. I mean, I already know I like Deadpool. There's just no way I'm not gonna like Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
So
if Hugh Jackman's already coming back.
Yeah, and they want to loop in just like people from old superhero movies and stuff just to like pop in and like, you know, make fun of it and stuff. I think that's hilarious.
It would make sense the old X-Men guys would be in it, but you know, like Fantastic Four randomly would be weird. But
like I said, if they're just making like one joke about it, if they're like consistently in it, that's more.
Yeah. But, well, I would say also like the people from Loki make sense because they're like with the Time Society or whatever, and him jumping around might, you know, be a different thing.
I think it'd be really funny. There's like a lot of potential for Deadpool 3.
Yeah. A lot of potential, but it could also be a mess.
I mean, I think it's just if it's just cameo filled funniness, like that was kind of the problem with the other two, is like they are using like Colossus and stuff, like very not known superheroes and stuff, and now you're gonna put him with the more known superheroes. I think it has a lot more potential.
I think Colossus was in the old ones too, but they just changed him for Deadpool.
Yes, he was in the he was like one of the younger kids at the thing.
X-Men, I've always really, really liked X-Men, and I've even, you know, I would even go and watch the crappy X-Men movies, and give my be lenient with those, even though they're bad movies, because I like X-Men so much. So I'm cool. I want X-Men. If it gets me X-Men faster, I'm cool.
I mean, I'll take any X-Men. Like
he's never been an X-Men. He's never been an member of the X-Men. That's like the thing.
Yeah, but he's tied to them.
Tied to the X-Men. Yes, he's a mutant. Yes. I just give me more X-Men. I'm cool. But I think people think that they're gonna wait until after like the next Avengers movie to get into X-Men fully.
Yeah, I feel like if they were gonna do it this time around, they would have already started to do it.
Yeah, the only thing that we've gotten is in Miss Marvel where they're like, you're a mutant or you have a mutation or whatever. You gotta get that little musical sting in there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see about that. I worry because I don't know, Marvel's not been doing so hot recently, and we'll see about this movie. But
I mean, yeah, they haven't been doing hot, but
Hope it doesn't die on the vine before I get X-Men again.
Yeah, they also haven't had like, I guess they have had their mainline ones and they've been screwing it up. Yeah, I mean, they just haven't been doing hot. It's just like you said.
Well, there's X-Men coming up, Fantastic Four coming up, and Blade, and I want all of those, and I really, really don't want it to go down the tubes before we get to those, because those are the ones I really like. So, anyway.
I don't think it's going to go down the tubes. I think Disney will be fine.
So there is, it was confirmed that Dodgeball 2 is happening. Vince Vaughn is confirmed to return. That is about it. We have no confirmation about anybody else, Ben Stiller included. And that is worrisome because it needs to have those characters.
There's no way if there's no Ben Stiller. No.
Yeah, it needs to have those for that movie to work. You need that guy, even if he's not the bad guy or something. Just him being stupid is necessary for that to go. And it just, that's not even confirmation about any of the other characters either. We need those people too.
If they did if Vince Vaughn was in it, and he could just kind of be the tie into the old ones, and then they just did a whole new cast, but they were known comedians and stuff. It still might be good. It's not as good as the first one.
Yeah, I still think you would need the other people at least be cameos or something.
It's funny to see comedians and stuff playing dodgeball.
That's true. That is true. I do agree with you. Yeah, as long as the movie's funny and there's at least some cameos, I think it'll be good. It just needs to be funny. Speaking of, so they're doing a movie about the beginning of SNL, and Jason Reitman is directing. Who directed the Ghostbusters. He's the son of Ivan Reitman, who did Ghostbusters and has worked with those people before, obviously, like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd are in Ghostbusters. But it's the start of SNL, like the early days.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of SNL, but I do see the appeal. It's been around for 30 years or something now. I don't know.
More than 40 years. It started in 1975.
Yeah. So the audience is definitely there for that.
Almost 50 years, actually. To 2025 will be 50 years.
Yeah. I think it had its place, in the 90s. And 80s, even the early 2000s, but since then it's just there's just YouTube. It has too much to compete with to really stay relative to me. So
it's the thing that gets me interested is the director. The director directed Juno, and he directed Up in the Air, and then he directed Ghostbusters recently. And those are good movies. So it definitely piques my interest. And I most definitely would see a movie with that subject matter would be interesting. And then
I feel like you would have seen the movie no matter who was directing it.
Yeah, but that definitely, but it's not some crap thrown together. It's they're actually picking a good director, and somebody has a tie to the original. With that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So this week was the May the 4th was during this week. So they had Star Wars related stuff, and news came out that day about Andor season 2, that the last, I want to say 3 episodes, they said, will be the days leading up to Rogue One. So it looks like we're only going to get 2 seasons of Andor.
Yeah, it's fine.
Does that interest you, or?
I mean, I was already interested in the show for it to be closer connected to Rogue One, I could care less.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like they're going to show anyone from Rogue One. That wouldn't make sense because he doesn't know anyone in Rogue One before Rogue One, you know? So,
Right. That's true.
kind of sounds like they're like when Rogue One came out, the big appeal was like it's right before the
Yeah.
original one. So that's like they're doing the exact same ploy
Yeah.
to get you to watch it. It's right before Rogue One.
Yeah.
But yeah. I like Andor. I think, and I probably would say Andor season was better than this recent Mandalorian season. So
I agree. It was better than this Mandalorian season for sure. I don't think people think it's better like overall, and I disagree. I like the Mandalorian more, but
I don't think it's better than all of Mandalorian. Definitely not.
yeah. But it is good, and I'm definitely interested. So they're making a sequel to Gladiator. Have you ever seen Gladiator?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're making a sequel to Gladiator. Ridley Scott is directing it as well.
They need to go back to making like full scale kind of like Roman Empire and
Yeah,
like
I would watch.
Troy movies and stuff. Like they need more of those. Those are great movies.
Well, he's directing the Gladiator sequel, and then they're doing Napoleon, and I know that's not the same, but it so should be like an epic type thing. Pedro Pascal joined the cast. Paul Mescal's already going to be the lead, and other people in the movie is Connie Nielsen, who is in Wonder Woman. She's like the general lady, and then Barry Keoghan, who just got nominated for an Oscar. He was the spoiler. He was the Joker in the most recent Batman movie, and he was a Druig in Eternals. That guy, and Denzel Washington. So pretty stacked cast. Pretty good, lots of good actors in there. Sequel to a Best Picture winning film.
This sounds like a great movie.
Yeah, it's definitely interested on, curious on what they're gonna do here. It's a sequel, so we'll see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a sequel, so we'll see what happens there. But that's stacked, and Ridley Scott's a great director, so we'll see.
Gladiator's a good movie, but there's some slow, boring parts in that.
Yeah, well, all epics and stuff are gonna have some slow, boring parts.
That's true. Troy definitely has plenty of them.
That movie is way too long. But
that's a good movie. I like that one better than Gladiator.
Well, that is a opinion, and I'm glad that you like.
The action is a lot better in Troy than it is Gladiator.
Yeah, you definitely. Action is definitely more important to you. That's why when we did our own awards, the Andrew Award was action. Yeah. So that was all the news that I had this week. So I watched 4 movies in one day. One of them was Star Wars, which I already talked about. So I started off my day with a movie called I think it's called Somewhere in Queens. It's with Ray Romano, and Laurie Metcalf plays the mom. Laurie Metcalf. I'm trying to think how you would know her. She was in yeah, you would know her. But she was in Roseanne and Lady Bird and stuff. But she's a good actress, Oscar nominated actress. But it's just about just a little movie, like a slice of life movie about he's from an Italian family, obviously, and the son is good at basketball, and he wants him to do well so he can kind of vicariously live through him. And they're possibly could go to the championship for the high school basketball, and then a scout sees him and he's like, you could definitely, he could go to college and get a scholarship and everything. And then the son has a girlfriend, and then the girlfriend dumps him, and he's all sad about it or whatever. So Ray Romano's like, you should get back together with him so he can play and get a scholarship and go to college.
What a fascinating story.
Anyway, it was a good movie. It was funny. Ray Romano wrote and directed it. It was a fun little movie. It was funny and heartfelt, and just just normal people with a kind of normal situation. I like those movies. I would definitely say check it out. It's probably a 7. It wasn't anything extraordinary, but there was definitely some good parts of it. But that was a fun movie. And then I went and had lunch, and then after lunch I watched Sisu. Was my next movie that I watched. Have you seen?
I've heard this one is good.
It is.
I do want to see it.
It is pretty insane. Just to the movie, it's very easy. Guy who's in Finland finds gold during World War II. Nazis take his gold. He kills a bunch of Nazis. That's the movie. It was an hour and a half. Good. So it was
not too long.
Not too long, which is great. I'm cool with shorter movies. All the movies now are like 2.5 hours for some reason. But it still was a little slow in the beginning. I will say that, but watching Nazis get killed never gets old. Lots of good action. That guy is pretty cool. Definitely a badass.
I'll have to check this one out before it leaves the theaters.
That would give that an 8. Definitely check. That would be definitely go out in theaters so more movies, like just good little movies, get made. That was a good movie. People are saying like John Wick. It's not like John Wick. It's not. He's not like flipping and shooting people in the head from like people are like just saying like John Wick-esque, and I was like, it's not really John Wick-esque. He has a dog.
Every action movie now is going to be compared to John Wick because that is the standard.
Yeah, modern action movies. Yeah, I guess I can see that. But yeah, it's more like Nobody or something. I don't know. But
yeah, I'm sure Nobody was compared to John Wick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Anyway, so I saw that, and then later that night I saw Return of the Jedi, and then the last movie I saw was I got to see an early screening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and that's what we're talking about this week. So what's your overall thoughts on our topic this week?
This was a good movie. Where to start? It's definitely a watch in the theater. It's definitely good enough to go pay and see. I know Marvel's kind of been in a slump for a while. I'm not going to say it pulls them out of the slump because the next one might be a dud as well. But this particular movie was quite good. I'll go in the spoilers how I think it stands up to the other ones. Maybe should I just say now? I don't think it's better than the first one. I do think it's better than the second one. So if you've seen any of them, you've probably already seen the movie. This is a good one. What do you think?
This is my third favorite. This is my bottom. I watched it the first time on the early screening, and I didn't like it very much. It doesn't. The tone and the pacing is kind of weird for me.
Very. It's because it's flip flopping between past Rocket and what's currently happening in the movie,
so
and they're kind of rushing as well.
Yeah, it is. The tone is so dark for me, and I can handle serious or dark, but it was kind of too much for me. It's the Rocket's origin, so, and we know he's a worked on raccoon. He has mechanical parts and stuff, so you're seeing that backstory, and it's too dark. I wouldn't bring kids to this. It's very dark, and cute animals that are getting worked on and stuff. I don't know. They use the first F bomb in the movie.
I mean, there was plenty of kids in the theater, so
I know, but I would worry taking a kid under 10 or so to this movie. It would be very there's those movies when you're a kid that is like, oh, that was kind of scarring. You're like, oh, that's
there was plenty of kids under 10 seeing that movie.
I remember when I saw the dark. I know, because the trailers don't make it out to be what it is. I would say that trailers are extremely misleading in things, and we can get into the spoilers later, but the villain, it just keeps going into these flashbacks, and there was too many of them for me. I felt kind of emotionally manipulative at points, where it's just like, oh, cute animal, and I'm supposed to feel sad, and then I just kind of turned it off. I think the first time I watched the movie, I saw it twice. The first time I had an emotional reaction to it, and I didn't like it as much. The second time I at least knew what to expect, so I felt a little differently the second time. I watched it again yesterday, but it's the songs aren't as good because they're and there's more modern songs, and even the beginning, there's not a fun opening with people dancing to upbeat music. It's
opening was a fail. The opening was
it's the acoustic version of Creep by Radiohead, and I was like, this is not what I'm wanting.
I mean, the song, I think the song choice was fine. It's just the fact that they weren't dancing and stuff. The second Galaxy opening was an amazing opening.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just the songs weren't as fun, and went to the backstory too many times. I disagree.
I think the songs are very in line with the series. I just think you personally don't like the songs as much.
Oh, that's not true, because I like Florence and the Machine. I like 2000s in alt rock. I'm down, but it doesn't fit. I'm expecting classic 70s rock or disco, and I'm getting emo alt rock.
because you said, the tone is much different than the first two movies.
There's too many characters. There's people that they had to put them in because they had to put Adam Warlock and stuff in because they teased them, and then they didn't know what to do with them. They're kind of there randomly. Kraglin and Cosmo. There's too many characters. So my I don't want to talk too much more because I'll start spoiling things. So it's a 7 for me. I really, really like the Guardians, and there's lots of parts that did feel like the Guardians, but then there's lots of parts it didn't. It's not. They literally Marvel has lifted the fun stuff from Guardians and put it into Thor and like Ant-Man and stuff. And people were like, oh, it's too fun and goofy now. But then like now Guardians is not. So it makes me sad that it isn't as good. And I feel like there's more that could have been told, but you know, James Gunn is leaving, so they had to like wrap it up. You know,
Wrap it up.
So, yeah, it's a 7 for me, and I'm also just personally just disappointed because Guardians is my favorite. The first Guardians is my favorite MCU movie still. Like that one for me is like a 9 or a 10. The second one is like an 8, and this one is a 7. I rewatched the second one and I really enjoyed it because I hadn't watched it since the first one, but also I got more backstory on the characters with the holiday special and stuff. It's just like you come from the second movie, and then even Infinity War kind of kneecapped it with Gamora, this movie, and they're trying to fix that again. And I don't know. I didn't love the way that some of the plot points went. So, but I disliked it more the first time I watched it. But the second watch, at least I knew what to expect, so it kind of softened it. And because I really truly was at a much lower score. I was at like a 5 or like a 6.
Wow.
Yeah, it just really bothered me because it just didn't. This is supposed to be the fun kickoff to the summer, and it was a lot. But I saw what
I think you just put on some you let the first two kind of skew what the third one should have been. I thought the trailers were pretty spot on what it actually was.
Well, when we get into spoilers, I'll tell you why I think they're misleading.
Okay.
And
I think
I
would. Well, let me give my score because I'm going to give my score.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's an 8. And we can go over in the spoilers why. Maybe I'll come down.
I had talked so I saw it early and I talked to my coworkers about it, and they all thought I was crazy. They were all like, some of them were like, best Guardians movie, best one they've seen since Endgame, best, really good. They liked it a lot. Some people were at 9s and stuff. Like I just and everyone.
What do you think is the best one since Guardians?
Best one since Endgame?
Endgame. Sorry,
No Way Home for sure.
Yeah.
But it was a lot,
other than No Way Home. Yeah, why? Wait, so people are saying that and including No Way Home?
Yes, they're saying everything since Endgame, this was the best one. Some people are saying best one since No Way Home. But
yeah, No Way Home's better than this one.
Other than No Way Home, I don't know, probably Black Panther 2.
Really?
Yeah, well, what else is there? Doctor Strange, Thor, Ant-Man.
Doctor Strange was by far the best one.
I liked Black Panther 2 more than Doctor Strange.
We definitely disagree on that one.
Yeah, we definitely disagree on that, and that's fine. It's just, I don't know. That was another one that I had a lot of expectations, and then people were hyping that movie up too much, I think. I still think it's a fun movie, and it's not like it's way worse or anything.
You also have to have Scarlet Witch and stuff too, which I don't think you ever really cared for Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, she's fine.
Strange. Yeah,
they've had a lot of problems with female characters, other than like the Guardians are like the best female, some of the best, like Nebula and stuff like that, like and Mantis and stuff. I really like them in this movie. It's definitely the rocket show, and I like Nebula and Mantis, and but they also do things in this movie where they kind of even break their own rules that they establish, and I'm gonna definitely be nitpicking because I really like Guardians in this one, so I will definitely be that guy in this.
I think we're ready to go into spoilers.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert.
So, all right, we're going into spoilers. First spoiler: no one dies. No one. And
Did you want somebody to die?
If I'm going to be, oh, you should be sad. You should be sad. Someone should have frickin' died if I'm going to have to be sad this whole time. I want a real reason to be sad. Like, oh, man, the person that I really care about. I like all the characters. They have really good chemistry. I wanted to be sad, but there's so many misdirects. Like, here, I wrote them down.
Yeah.
Groot is just a head at one point. His head gets ripped off, and it looks like he's dead. Not dead. He just grows back extremely fast.
I never thought he was dead when that happened.
Okay, well, there's that. Star-Lord. We'll get back. Ooh, that's the last one for sure. Okay, Drax. He gets shot with a big gun, and then he gets shot again, and he's like,
and then the next scene, he's totally.
And then he's like, and I'm gonna start talking about Zarg nuts or whatever,
Yeah, literally wasn't even addressed at all.
Rocket literally dies. He literally, I don't know, goes to heaven or whatever that is. And then she's like, "Nah, just kidding. Or go back to living."
Well, I never thought Rocket was gonna die either. And it is a misdirect.
Lots of people thought Rocket was going to die. And then Star-Lord, freaking Quill, literally is in space. He freezes his head like
that was stupid.
Up, and he lives.
That was like, why was that even in the movie?
And he went back for the Zune. It wasn't even like the thing that his mom gave him or something. And it's like, it didn't feel like that was. It
shouldn't have been in the movie. And it was dumb. It was just, and if he had died like that, it would have been even dumber.
I would have rather him die because then at least it would have been sad, like a reason to be sad, and like
no, that would have been stupid. That would have been the worst death ever.
A lot of the stuff that they've done with Quill has been kind of stupid, and Infinity War totally kneecapped that, and he's like, okay, half the universe can die because I'm mad about something. That's Infinity War. It's a different thing.
I actually don't mind that they did that. I mean, he's always kind of been a self-centered, I just need this sort of thing. I need Gamora. I need this person, whatever.
They shouldn't have killed Gamora in Infinity War, and that makes me like Infinity War less, and I'm already not the highest on it because that kind of fudged up this movie.
I feel like if you were going to kill Gamora, she should just be gone. They shouldn't have brought her back.
Yeah, and they're
from
trying
the past or whatever.
And then they
try to make it work. They didn't need to do that.
And
she could have just been doing her own thing.
He's depressed about it, and he's like drinking and stuff in the beginning of the movie, and then they like never address that again. He's just like normal the rest of the time. Like he doesn't. It's like, all right.
They address it when he's like, he's upset with himself that maybe if he hadn't been drinking, maybe he could have protected Rocket.
But that's like right after. And then
they addressed it there.
I don't know. It was like, okay. I don't know. I just feel
there's plenty of things they don't address in this movie. They at least gave that at least one line or something to address it.
So let's get into Rocket because this is the Rocket show. James Gunn clearly loves Rocket as a character, and I'm fine with that. I like Rocket too. Rocket's good. Just too many flashbacks for me.
I mean, who else were you going to make a story about? None of them have interesting backstories other than Star-Lord and Rocket.
Well, I think that the other people they've talked about their backstory, Nebula and Drax and stuff, and that they don't need to show it on screen. And I'm not saying we don't talk about Rocket's backstory. Just too many flashbacks for me. It was exhausting the first time I watched it because I just don't like seeing. I don't care if it's CGI. It looks real enough for me. Little raccoon and stuff, and it reminds me of Sid's toys that he weird amalgamation put together. Creepy looking animals.
You don't like him going, it hurts.
No, it's so sad. I hated it. It was not great. I did not like that. It was made me very sad. I did not cry in this movie, but
it's not cry worthy. Yeah,
for some people that really affects them, and I heard several people in my screening like, oh, like ladies.
I mean, it's meant to make you feel sad.
It's
and,
just,
yeah.
it's just very
The
like
twist, like we all knew those people were gonna die. Like I felt like the way they did it too was kind of stupid.
I didn't like the bunny was creepy. It had like spider legs, and I just felt bad, and the walrus with like wheels, and
I mean, that was the point, is that you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, whether it has spider legs or not. It can still, that's the point. They're not supposed to look like cute, fluffy little animals. You're supposed to love them regardless.
I know, I agree, and some of them were cute still. It was just it was so dark and just not. I didn't want to go back and see them being sad. Like, you know, a million people can die or get. I don't want to watch humans getting tortured, and I definitely don't want to see cute animals getting tortured. It's just not what I want to see. It's just.
Well, they never showed them being tortured, at least those specific three. They're just all hanging out in the cage.
Yeah. Well, he's yelling at him, and then he
is kicking Rocket around,
and then
stuff.
you see, and then when he gets thrown in, is like scalped pretty much. I didn't like that, and I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't like it. It's too dark, and it was too dark James Gunn for me, and I want light James Gunn. I would rather it be like one long sequence than flashbacks to it, throw the pacing off.
I agree with that as well.
But someone was probably like, well, I don't know if an audience can handle 30 minutes of
Well, they did that because they wanted you to like, the whatever, the seal or whatever that was.
Walrus.
Otter. There was an otter. There you go. Yeah.
Seal.
Whatever. They wanted you to like her, so they had to show you, like you said, it probably was a half hour in cutbacks. If you had put that all together, so they couldn't make it shorter, or you wouldn't have cared for them. So they did make me care for them. So I think they accomplished on what they were setting out to do. Yeah, it was definitely a darker tone, but I mean, when you're on the third film, it can't all just be happy-go-lucky.
But
same movie as the first one, sort of thing.
So the other movies have darkness. The mom dies of cancer in the first 5 minutes of the first movie. And that's it. That's all there is. That's like the only darkest part of it. Yeah, but they didn't show her like. That's like if during the first movie they flash back to Quill's backstory and you watch his mom slowly die of cancer and you see her doing treatments and then she dies of cancer slowly. I don't want that. They talked about Ego putting the tumor in her head and giving her cancer. They didn't show him putting it in there, and then him killing all these people. They talk about it and imply it and give backstory. But this one was just so, I felt like it was not. I don't know. It just felt too much. Like there's just too much of it for me. And they go from like, well, they escaped the place and that was kind of a fun adventure there. And then now watch Rocket get kicked around and the guy getting mad at him and stuff.
I agree. I think if they had done it, made it, maybe cut one of the scenes or something and just made it like 20 minutes long or something, at like the beginning of the movie or something like that.
Yeah.
That would have been okay. That way, when they're doing the overall storyline, that's just, you're on to the next thing. No need to cut back.
And I know this is my biggest issue with it, and some people that's their favorite part. They like that they're getting that information, and that's definitely the heart. There's more heart of that of the film, but I think the movie is very well made. It's just, I don't know, the tone is a big problem, and there's too many characters, and some of them get shortchanged. I think Groot doesn't have much to do. And they give him stuff to do here and there, but he doesn't have that much to do. I think I like big, bulky Groot, where he like hides the guns and stuff. I thought that was kind of fun and stuff, but he says, "I love you guys."
Yeah, that was stupid.
That's dumb.
I don't know why. There was no reason to do that. And it just sounded like Vin Diesel did.
Yeah, it is Vin Diesel. And he should have said...
I know it's Vin Diesel, but it literally sounded like it was just like Vin Diesel's voice came out of his mouth. That was it.
He should have said, "We are family."
That's pretty much what he said. We could have said anything.
He should have said, "We are family." And then brought him into Fast and the Furious.
He should have just said, "We are Groot" again. Just call back to the first time he said it.
Yeah. True. Good point. I didn't like that. I didn't like it either. So
it was dumb and not needed. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Maybe that was a last minute switch or something. I don't know. Stupid. So I liked Mantis in this movie. I liked her before, and her optimism is nice. And the conversation about try to make Quill feel better. You should, Mantis. You should Drax is like, "Mantis, you should make him feel better. Change." And she's like, "Well, we can't change the emotions of friends. That's not nice or whatever." And then she's having an argument with Mantis, and where Mantis calls him Drax stupid, and she's like, "Yeah." Mantis is like, "Yeah, he is stupid." And then he's like, "You think I'm stupid?" She just makes him forget it.
And then she makes him forget it. So I guess it's okay for that particular moment for friends to have their emotions manipulated. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing where they set up their rule there and then they break it later in the movie. And that bothers me. I like that whole thing. And I like, oh yeah, he is stupid, but there's a reason that we like him and everything. And I liked all that stuff with Drax, he was meant to be a dad and everything, because that was his whole backstory with the, his family dying and everything. I liked all that.
Well, let's go back here a minute, because I'm not really giving my thoughts on all these things.
Okay.
You said that there's too many characters, and some people, I do agree too, some people do get shortchanged because of it. But it didn't bother me, like the dog and the arrow guy. It was a way they took it. I don't think it hurt the film. No, I think it's still a fine film, but I do agree that I would have loved to have seen more Groot. But I don't think what they replaced it with was bad or anything.
Okay, so we can talk about Kraglin and Cosmo. And Kraglin is the guy with the arrow. I don't care if he can do it or not. Him saying bad dog or whatever. They took like time away from other characters. I don't care if it's James Gunn's brother, or whatever. That's who plays Kraglin. Kraglin is played by James Gunn's brother, so that's why he has so much time. I don't care. Now, James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, he does young Rocket. That's him. It's not Bradley Cooper. And he even does the physical for Rocket too. So actually, Bradley Cooper's not in it that much. He's actually in the beginning and then the end, because Rocket's in a coma the whole time. Pretty much.
That's true.
So he's a good actor, but I don't care about Kraglin. I don't care about Cosmo. I thought the bad dog thing was funny enough, but you knew it was going to resolve itself with him saying good dog or whatever and Cosmo doing something. I just didn't care about those characters. But yeah.
Yeah, they should have just cut the good dog. Like they could have had them at the beginning like they did, but they didn't need to keep going back and having them go bad dog and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, like I like Mantis as a character, and I would, but I like her and Drax together, and we're probably not going to get more of that because they split up or whatever at the end. But so that's a missed opportunity because I know that Batista's going to leave. So
I mean, he was leaving, I think, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So that was never going to happen unless it happened in this movie.
I know. So it's just like that.
I feel like there was plenty of Mantis and him specifically in this movie, like when they go take the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I think there was enough of it in this movie.
Well, there's something to be said about you like something, so you want more of it more later but we're not going to get that. So that's kind of a disappointment. I really, really liked Nebula. Nebula's been working on being a better character every time. That was probably the one Guardians character that they really did more for. They nailed and did more for in the Avengers movies. Her with Tony Stark, that stuff is so good, and that's like a very small part of that whole Avengers thing. And I think that's like some of the best stuff when he's almost dead or whatever. And
also, what was dumb is she had like some jetpack suit thing that she put on at the beginning, and then they go to take off on their adventure, and she just like forgot it, I guess.
I think she gets shot by Adam Warlock or something. So that
destroys it or something, I guess.
And Rocket's in a coma, so can't fix it. Because she says, I got upgrades from him. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was another reason I wanted to see the movie again, so I could, pick up things that I had missed the first time. But yeah, that's what she says about that. And Nebula really helps like inform the other characters and us as the audience about what's going on. Her interactions with Gamora, because they are sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And her being like, well, he's my family. You're my family, but he's also my family, because Gamora and Quill get into a fight. Well, Gamora's just yelling at him, but and talking about Rocket and stuff. She was really good. I really like her, and Karen Gillan does a really good job as Nebula. Her being kind of taking care of everybody is I really like her character development through the movies. Just where they take her, and hopefully we get more of her in other things. But yeah, so Gamora's back, and she's dumb and just gives up their coordinates to anybody apparently who has a comm. And it's so clearly that she was gives it to the lady from the Sovereign.
That was stupid.
It was so dumb. It's like
because her contact was supposed to be a guy, and then it was a lady's
she's
voice.
Like, salutations, and then she's like, yeah, whatever. Just here's my coordinates. So like, what? There is no way. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Shouldn't she have like a direct contact to Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, wouldn't she be like, I want to talk to Stallone? I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of like little dumb things like that definitely brought it down for me, especially like Star-Lord, quote unquote, dying for like 2 seconds or whatever. That was stupid.
Because like I said, with Drax getting shot twice, and then Nebula gets
that was so dumb.
Nebula gets shot and she's bleeding like out of her mouth or whatever, but then in the next scene there's like fine.
When does that happen?
That's in the
very beginning,
the Orgo Corp, where they're in that biome thing. I'll get to that. That's a whole section. That Orgo Corp scene is my favorite part of the movie because that felt like Guardians, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So so yeah, she just gives away her coordinates. That's stupid. But for the sovereign people, so Adam Warlock is a sovereign, like special sovereign person, and so she, the lady, the high priestess of the sovereign, he considers her to be his mother, and everything, and they work for. They're created from the High Evolutionary, who's the villain. And so they're trying to get Rocket's brain, so he can study it, the High Evolutionary. And that's why Adam Warlock is in the movie at all. I just felt like he was just kind of come in here and there and didn't do very much. And they just had to put him in there because he teased him at the end of the second movie.
I liked Adam Warlock.
I thought he was funny.
He was funny. I don't think he detracted anything. If I was to cut someone out of the movie, it would have been what you said, the Cosmo and the other guy.
I could have cut him too, honestly, because he did.
No, I liked him. And I liked the thing he had with his mom, and then the mom dies, and then they don't touch on it at all.
Yep, that's right.
That was the only complaint I had about that character in particular.
I think that he's upset. They show that he's like upset.
Yeah, but they didn't
Yeah, I know.
And then they save him there on that planet because he would have died. She took him in the spaceship, right?
Yeah.
And then he's still, for whatever reason, chasing after them. And then they save him again. And then at that point, he's like, "Why did you save me?" Well, we saved you the first time. Why would we not save you this time? It's like, you should have already had this resolution. Your mom's already dead. That's when you should have had the resolution that you were on the wrong side. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think he added particularly anything other than saving, Star-Lord from not, dying in space. He didn't really add anything. I liked him. I thought he was funny, but I felt like there should have been another movie here. Like, I feel like and then they try to wrap it up really fast at the end. But I mean, this specific problem is kind of a lot of the problems that all these Marvel movies has. They have to shoehorn in other people that are going to be in future movies to set up those future movies.
I will say
in future ones.
This is way more contained than most of the Marvel movies recently, where they're trying to set up like the villain for the rest of the.
I think
space.
I think the Adam Warlock thing was done well. I thought it was done way better in this than it was in Black Panther. I'm trying to think of another one, but that's the only one I can think of right now.
Oh, like I said, Ant-Man and Thor and setting up other stuff.
Yeah, I think Adam Warlock, they said that they did it better in this movie than they did in other ones.
I just think
it's still a problem even in this movie.
I just think that James Gunn did a better job writing him than I just don't, like I said, I don't think he added anything. I'm not saying he detracted. I'm just saying he didn't add. So if you had taken him out, I don't think it would have affected the movie that much. That's all I'm saying. It would have been, it would have been neutral. Him being in it did nothing.
I agree with that.
So
it made it a little funnier.
Yeah, it made it a little funnier. That's true. Okay, there you go. He added a couple jokes. So the High Evolutionary, I liked the villain in the beginning, and then about halfway through, he kind of just became yelly villain guy. And he became I wouldn't say he's one-dimensional, but I definitely not three-dimensional. He's like a two-dimensional villain.
And he does one of the worst villain tropes where he captures them and then doesn't kill them.
Yeah.
And just throw them in a cage. Well, use them to convince them to do something, and then they never do. So they're like, okay, release them to random krakens for some reason.
Yeah.
Instead of just killing them. Like, that bad trope.
Yeah. So he's like, he wants to perfect a perfect species or whatever. And so, he's a bad guy, and he's mean to animals, so he's the worst person in the world. You want to see him get what's coming to him. But also,
they don't even kill him.
They don't kill him, even though they killed a ton of people leading up to getting to there. I don't care. They definitely killed people. So, for some reason, at the end, they're not okay with killing him. I don't know.
Even though he's on a blowing up ship. I guess he has a role to play later on in the thing. They reprise him like the guy in Captain America or something.
Yeah.
The villain in the first Captain America just showed up.
First of all, they left him to die, on a blowing up ship. So he's going to die anyway. So they're still killing him.
Yeah, but they didn't show him die. He ain't dead. He's coming back.
Whatever.
That's how it works.
Anyway,
they even brought MODOK, who was the original villain in Ant-Man. That guy literally got crushed or whatever, and he was still alive. This guy's definitely still.
Well, yeah, the villain in Captain America, he was, sent through space or whatever, so that makes sense that he's still alive. But whatever. Yeah, maybe he's still alive, but I don't know. I just think it's stupid that they're like, we're not going to kill you, but we're going to leave you on a blowing up ship.
I agree. I also think it was stupid. I'm just telling you that guy will be in another Marvel movie at some point.
So they don't kill people, but they do kill people. We don't change people's emotions if they're our friends, but we do.
Yep.
And then what was the third thing that they break their own rules? The guy who had the thing in his head, who was like his recorder for the High Evolutionary, was the guy from Superstore, the Asian guy from Superstore. So I thought that was funny. Star-Lord murders him. Jumps out the window, tackles him, and runs him into the ground and straight up murders him.
Yeah, well, he said he doesn't murder innocent people. At least most of those people are bad people.
I know, but
especially him, he was a bad person.
Yeah, they kill people.
I think what he was meaning is that they don't kill innocent people. Like, he didn't want to kill the girl that he was talking to initially and stuff like that. Or yeah, but they kill a lot of people. I see what you're saying.
And there was just a lot of dumb. There was like 3 or 4 dumb things that are dumb. Yeah. So, so the High Evolutionary, and then he gets his comeuppance or whatever, and he's wearing a skin mask or whatever because Rocket.
I don't even think it was like a good resolution to that either, because he just kind of like disappears. Like, the crew has a mutiny for some reason, and then he blows them all up and then just kind of like disappears from the ship for like a good 20 minutes.
It's a big ship. He's got to walk around.
He had to go to the bathroom before he left or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He was, trying to get over all the smoke from blowing everything up. I don't know.
Well, the problem was it should have just been him and Rocket, and then Rocket beats him, right? And then they're like, "Where's Rocket?" And then just fast travel over to wherever they were in 1 millisecond to help Rocket.
Yep.
Yeah. I see what. I wish that could have been done a little bit better, just a one-on-one standoff or something. Because it was his story anyways.
Yeah, might as well just exactly. And that fight was so short that they just kicked his ass in 5 minutes.
It wasn't even a fight. He was using his gravity thing.
And then he's like, I'm Rocket Raccoon because I found out I'm a raccoon because my little name plate, my little plate that, where the little raccoons are, say I'm a raccoon. You're a raccoon. Yeah. And then
it was just him accepting himself. That was the point of that.
Yeah, that's true.
But when he came down and shot him, that's just where it should have ended, and him should have had a talk. Instead, all the other Guardians show up and are like, "What are you gonna do, Rocket?"
Yeah, exactly.
We killing him or what?
And he's like, "Nah, I'm just kidding. We killed all those other people in a great high. That hallway fight was great. with the
That's actually why this movie is a lot better for me, is because the action was actually really great.
Yeah, really good.
Which has been a problem for Marvel as well in the past. Their action sequences haven't been great.
What's really funny is it's "Don't Sleep Till Brooklyn" is the song. That's also the song at the end of Mario with Chris Pratt. "Don't Sleep Till Brooklyn," and they literally came out like a couple weeks away. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Wow, this is the same ending here." They're kicking.
Kind of was, yeah.
Yeah,
so, just think if they had played a Mario song during that instead, that would have been way better.
I was fine with it. I just think if I'm sure somebody knew that song, they could have, one of them could have switched their song that they picked. You know, there was a good fight and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. The High Evolutionary, it was really interesting, his story, like, oh, I'm the creator or whatever, and then he's like, but something I created is smarter than me, and I'm envious of that. Like, that was actually interesting, and then he just becomes yelly villain guy and stuff. So I think the guy did good for what was written. Like, he played it correctly. It's just that the dimension later. So like it was like 75% of the writing I really enjoyed, and then there's like things that just didn't make any sense.
It's another Marvel thing that the villains are just written for the one movie, and they always fall off at the end almost every time. So
I think the back half of the last third is really strong, actually. And it's also because I don't have all the flashbacks and stuff. It was just like action and all that stuff. But except for the Star-Lord not dying thing.
And there's like just all those little plot holy things that we've already talked about.
Yeah, and there's like kids, like the kids or whatever. I like the stuff with Drax. He knew what their language or whatever and helped out and stuff. I was fine with all that. I thought it was funny when they go to the counter Earth or whatever with the.
Yeah, that didn't bother me. Yeah,
that was
even though they all die. Anyways,
they all die. So who cares about them? No, nobody's like, oh my god, all those people just died. Oh well, move on. And then, but I thought all that stuff was funny, and them trying to get in the car and everything. All that was funny. So there's the Orgo Corp, the Orgoscope or whatever, the like bio made base or whatever. It's like made of organic materials and stuff. So this was my favorite part because it felt like the most Guardians, the music, and they jump out of the ship and they're in space or whatever, and they're in their multicolored suits and everything, and the talking about the communications, hitting the buttons and everything. I thought that was all funny, but that's the good music. It was funny, and then there's like,
I liked Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, so this is what Guardians should be. The music, and then it's funny, and then they have their little conversation that's kind of heartfelt about like, we used to love each other, whatever, and then there's like, joke like, hey, we can all hear what you're saying and everything. And then they get in there, and that's all funny. Nathan Fillion, James Gunn's friend, getting your friend in there, and then all that stuff was funny. Like, I got a subordinate, I feel you, bro. I feel your problems with saying that Drax is like the boss's son or whatever, nephew or whatever. Thought that was all funny.
I got one of those. All that stuff was good. You got James Gunn's wife being the lady who's on the comms channel with the blonde lady. She gets shot in the leg later. That's James Gunn's wife. I didn't know that.
This was basically...
Man, he's very biased.
Yeah,
so he'll just put all of his friends and family in all of his movies.
This is pretty much this sequence is James Gunn's friends and family half hour there. And then the lady who is the Ura, who's the one who gives him the information and stuff, that's the lady who is Ratcatcher in Suicide Squad.
Hmm.
Yeah, most of the
I
people
don't even remember what that is, to be honest. But
the run with the rats in Suicide Squad. She can
yeah,
control
I don't know.
rats and she has the story
I
about.
understand what she can do. I literally don't remember that person in the movie.
Oh, the person in the movie you don't. The one who he's like, I'm gonna turn on my charm and charm her or whatever, and
No, I know. I don't remember who she was in. I don't remember a rat person in Suicide Squad.
she has like
I understand.
she has a
There's like a million different people that just die for no
she
reason at the
lives.
beginning.
She has a dad, and he was a druggie or whatever, and she controls rats to make them go places and stuff. She's
Sorry,
like
man.
Hispanic. No, okay.
I just don't remember the movie.
Sorry.
I guess
She lives the whole time
blends
and
in.
everything. Anyway, whatever. Another James Gunn movie. But that, and it makes sense for that movie to be dark. Yeah. Anyway, but this was friends and family, half hour, which I was fine with. It was funny and everything. And then all of a sudden, Nathan Fillion has a giant gun and shoots Drax, and it gets all weird and sad all of a sudden. And then it's just like back to normal after that.
Yeah, that was annoying. I assume they could have just been like, give him a med pack or something. The med packs that fixed everything.
Yeah, med packs to fix everything. Except for when it's not plot worky, it can't work with the plot.
Well, I mean, it made sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then, so the tone and everything, that was something I didn't like. And then the very, very end is another thing I didn't like. They just kind of resolve everything in about 5 minutes. Oh, this person needs to go this place. Oh, I'm not going to be on the Guardians anymore. My contract's up. I don't want to do these movies anymore. So I got to go do my thing.
I mean, that's what they did in like Endgame and stuff.
I know, but no one died or anything. It's not like there's a reason why they're not coming back. They're just like, I don't feel like being here anymore. And then Groot says, I love you guys. And that was like, what the heck?
Stupid.
Yeah. So I didn't like that either. And then so there's 2 end credit scenes, or mid credit and an end credit scene. The mid credit scene is that they show what maybe the new Guardians team is, and that team is garbage. I don't want Cosmo or Kraglin on the team.
I don't think they're like, it's not like new Guardians. They're like a different team. They're related to them because it has Rocket, but they must be called something else. They're not Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, they are the Guardians of the Galaxy. They just said they brought new people on the team. That is the Guardians. They're saying they're the Guardians of the Galaxy because he's the team captain. And then the little girl who is shown for 5 minutes in the movie is on the team now. I'm like, what? Who's this girl?
Well, they kind of set her up because they're like some smart beings, but they couldn't like learn stuff on their own or something like that.
Powers, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we don't know how she got those powers. I think it was just a sneak peek at the thing. I actually okay with it. That's the way they're taking it because a lot of people didn't want to be in Guardians movies anymore. So they had to get rid of it.
I don't know.
It doesn't work anymore. I'm sorry that it's gone now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just disappointing that if that is the team, I'm not interested. But then at the end credit scene, then they have a scene where Star-Lord's just eating cereal, and
that was stupid.
And then they're like, Star-Lord will return, and I was like, okay, but then why wouldn't he be on the Guardians?
Well, they're just saying he's not going to be on that team anymore. He's going to show up and do his own thing for whatever movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not the ending that I was, I don't know, hoping for, I guess.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You wanted a bigger conclusion into the past current now Guardians, and it wasn't a good one. It really wasn't. I agree. Somebody probably should have died, and they could have been sad over that instead of the whole Rocket thing.
It just felt like I didn't have a reason to be sad other than they're like, hey, you should be sad because it's sad watching animals getting that are sad. Like,
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, it was sad.
It was sad.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
I don't know. They do that stuff in other movies where they make you feel sad and you have no complaints about it.
Well, there was one movie, like Black Panther, someone actually in real life died. And that's a reason to be sad. This was just nobody died and they're just sad and glum and it's so droll and I don't know. It's just not what I'm expecting. Put that in something else. Don't ruin Guardians.
I still feel like that was in the trailers that it was about his backstory. We knew his backstory was bad.
This is why I think it's misleading. At the very end, you see Nebula holding Star-Lord and you think, oh, maybe he got hurt or something, and that's, they're sad about that. No, he was just drunk. She's just picking him up, take him to bed. That is misleading. 100%. That is misleading.
That's not misleading.
That is misleading. And then Drax is like, so
they do that stuff in trailers all the time.
But that you think that's
it still happened in the movie. That they could have just taken that scene out completely if they wanted to.
But you think that's like third act or something. That's right in the beginning, the part where Drax is shot and you see, maybe Drax is gonna die there. No, he's just fine. The next scene, and then you see Quill screaming like, someone's dying or whatever, but then he lives and whatever. I don't know. It's just misleading. Yeah. I'm sorry, but that trailer is misleading.
I don't think it misled the tone of the movie at all. Like, that's what the tone of the movie was.
I felt like there was going to be some
things did happen. If you thought that Star-Lord was going to die because he was lumped over or whatever, that's fine. But you thought that's not what happened.
If you watch the other two movies, you could watch this trailer and go, okay, there's going to be a few, some small scenes of some sadness. That is not that. It's just
there's some small scenes with some sadness. Yeah, what are you talking about?
But they're not small scenes. There's maybe a couple small scenes. There's a ton of small scenes that are that. It's just, I think it is not a great representation of what the movie is. That's how I feel. So yep, I still like the Guardians a lot. I love the characters. I like their chemistry. I'm sad that I'm not going to see them anymore. It is a 7. I'm affirming that it's a 7. It's a still very well made movie. It still looks really great. The music is good. It's just there's just like the fact that there's at least 6 or 7 characters that I really like is telling, because a lot of the other ones I can only find like 1 or 2 characters that I really like in the more Marvel ensemble-ish type movies. I hope to see some of these Guardians back. I know that others said they're never not coming back and whatever, but I don't know. I just the whole thing with James Gunn being fired and everything, and then Infinity War kind of kneecapped this movie and stuff like that. It's just I think if the timeline was different and some things didn't happen, we might have a slightly different movie. But still a good movie. You should still go and see it. It's just my expectations are different. And I have high expectations for Guardians and just wasn't where I wanted it to be. So it's a 7 for me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to come down on it as well. I think I'll go down to a 7 after talking about it. Just because I hadn't even noticed the whole like setting that rule and then they break that rule immediately. But yeah, you're right. They definitely do that. I had already known like all of them dying and whatever, and then not dying was very annoying. Plus, there's also times where like they're in space and like their glass shield breaks, but there's like no shield or anything. Yeah. They're in space. They should be like being sucked out or losing something. Nothing happens. There's many times where it just doesn't make sense.
Yep. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was like I noticed it, but I was whatever. I'll just go to the next thing. Just with all those things compounded, I understand that you didn't like where they went with the tone. I thought they, if they're gonna go for it, they nailed it. I do understand that that's not what Guardians is about. I can agree with that.
I feel like some people were like, well, it felt like a natural progression. And I was like, no, I would say we went from being in the shadows to being in the pitch black darkness. It was not, it wasn't, it would, I would say half as much darkness in this movie would be the natural progression. There could have been sad moments. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Starting, like I said, it starts out with Creep by Radiohead, like an acoustic weird version, and it ends with Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine. I like that song, but it just doesn't seem like it didn't seem like Guardians to me. I feel like they should have played like a disco song or something at the end. It would just,
well, he plays the song in the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, but that's also just emotional manipulation because it's from the first movie, and they're like, remember the song that you liked?
Yeah.
And it just felt like more. It's like the music was Star-Lord's thing, but Rocket's playing the music mostly in the movie. So it's weird.
I get where you're coming from. This movie is disappointing. It could have been a lot better, especially, through circumstances. They should have played things better. I know they wanted Gamora in the film, but Gamora's gone. If you're going to kill her off, you kill her off.
I think,
sort of thing.
And people talking to me about it thought I was just being down on it for some reason. Like I'm down on that, and I was like, I love the Guardians. There's a reason why I acted. If you know me,
you're super biased towards Guardians.
I'm so biased, and that's why it bothers me so much. So
but they think that, I get it.
So
you're definitely. It's not the other way around, that's for sure.
Yes, I am not. So, there's like, I can see where someone might have a problem with like Thor or something, but like, and those are founded, but this one, like, I have real problems, and I feel like it felt like there should have been like, there could be another movie here or whatever, and then they just kind of like shuffled and finished it up.
Oh yeah, they're definitely. I was like, so are they not ending the Guardians here? When I was like nearing the end here, I was like, there's still like some more stuff.
And then they were like, oh yeah, I gotta finish.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yep.
Yeah, I think 7 is right. I still think it's better than the second one though, but
I rewatched it, and I liked it. Felt like the second one felt like more of what I liked of the first one. I would say if this one was a little bit more fun, I probably would. They're close. It's like I said, it's like a 7 to an 8. Like that's like, it's not like the second one's not way better. It's just like a step above because it has more of the fun stuff that I like.
Yeah.
The tonal dissonance is strong for me in this movie. And it is what it is.
Yeah, it didn't bother me as much.
Yeah,
to be honest. But
no,
the other things,
there's tons of people that are having totally opposite reaction. Like, this is amazing, but there's a lot of people that like darkness and like why is Batman so popular? Is that people like the dark stuff?
Yeah. I do not think this is better than No Way Home, and I don't think it's better than Doctor Strange. So,
yes, I agree. I like Doctor Strange more than this, but not much more than this. It would be, I've already ranked it, and it's like right behind those, like not far behind those. It's not the worst, and it's not the best. It's in the middle.
Yeah, I would
lower middle for me.
I still think this is one of the better ones. I don't think it's like, it's just not as, like you said, it is disappointing. I don't think it's at like the peak of what it was at. Like it definitely could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's our review then.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of notes and detailed notes about the movie because I wanted to give my full thoughts. I don't know, maybe this is just for me, but
Well, you definitely gave your full
yeah,
thoughts out.
I think yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got everything that was in my head out.
That's cool.
So
That's fine. All right. Well, we will see you guys on the next one.
see you later.